racing towards the summer's biggest event, and that is the Travers. Key stop is this weekend, the Jim Dandy, a 1.1 miles at my favorite racetrack, Saratoga. We have a very talented field of 5 horses. Yes, I know, I said 5. That's kind of disappointing, but what a field we have. 3 from the Belmont. The winner of the Belmont and the Kentucky Derby, Sovereignty. We also have Baeza, who came in 3rd in the Belmont and the Derby, and Hill Road. We have fan favorite Sandman. Don't you sleep on Sandman. And a newcomer, Mo Plex, the Ohio Derby winner. How are you going to find your winner? Well, facts and figures will help you find that winning edge. I give you the stats, you make the picks. Hi, it's Maura from Trifecta and a little bit extra. And today we're going to go through the Jim Dandy, all 5 horses and the angles. But first, I do want to remind you, horse betting is not legal everywhere. So if you're betting, make sure it's legal. Now, last week in my CCA Oaks video, I said, hey, tell me who you like to win and to place, and I will shout you out on this video if you give it right. Just giving some love back to the viewership. Well, I had a few of you get it right. Idiot Proof, 523. Kelly Clarkson is beautiful. Mike LXATP, 3rd shout out for Mike, and Sauce Darzell, 2nd shout out for Sauce. Now, I also had a Haskell video last week, and I had a lot of people correctly tell me, hey, journalism was going to win, Gosker was going to come in 2nd. So look here, this is the scrolling of all the viewers that got it right. This week, how about we do this, because we've only got 5 horses. Drop a comment, any comment. Who do you like in the race? What do you like about the show? And I'll pick one at random and shout you out. So let's start, as I always like to do, with those angles. Let's start with some angles. Now, I went back through 30 runnings of the Jim Dandy to find the characteristics of the winners. This race, super difficult. Nothing was standing out in those big flashing neon lights. But I did find a few things that I do want to highlight for you. Just remember this though, these are data points, these are stats. The winners may not always conform to the stats. Just use them to understand the strength of the contenders. The first one is horses that participated in a Triple Crown race tend to win this race. 23 out of the last 30 winners, that is 77%, were in a Triple Crown race. And that just speaks to class having a big impact on winning this race. Another thing that speaks to class is a graded stakes win. 21 out of the last 30 had a graded stakes win, and that is 70%. Now, only one horse didn't participate in a Triple Crown race in this edition of the Jim Dandy, and that is Mo Plex. And only one horse has not won a graded stakes race, and that is Baeza. Next is tactical speed. Where is the horse going to be in relation to the leader? At the half pole. What I found is 22 out of the last 30 winners, 73%, were within 2.5 lengths of the leader at the half pole, and that speaks to early speed. Finally, we have form. Horses that either won or placed in their last race, well, 63% of the time, that is 19 out of the last 30, either won or placed in their prep race. And a significant prep race is the Belmont. 12 of the 30 came out of the Belmont. And we have 3 contenders here coming out of the Belmont. Now, I found some other really interesting facts. May not apply to this edition of the Jim Dandy, but hey, I wanted to share them with you anyway because I felt they were interesting. Out of the last 30 years, only 10 of the winners were the favorite. Only 14 had won this distance or longer, and 17 came out of post position 1, 2, or 3. Now again, that really may not apply to this year's Jim Dandy because we only have a 5-horse field. Now let's look at how our angles apply to our contenders and evaluate the strengths of our contenders. First up is Baeza. Now I really love that name. He's trained by John Sheriffs and will be ridden by Hector Barrios. Now Hector has been on him for 3 of his races, but Flavian Pratt, he was his jockey for the Kentucky Derby and the Belmont. 6 starts, 1 win, 2 places, and 2 shows. That means 5 times he has made it on the board. Now he does meet our first angle. He was in the Belmont Stakes and the Kentucky Derby. How did he do? Kentucky Derby, remember, sloppy day, going 1 1/4 at Churchill Downs. He was in the outermost gate, comes out of the gate, settles in like 14th or 15th. With a 1/2 mile to go, he did a little bumping, and then coming down, turning for home, he slid from the 5th path to the 9th path. Now, he had a ton of momentum. He was gaining. He almost took 2nd place away from journalism, but journalism got it by a neck, and Baeza earns a 102 buyer and 3rd place. The Belmont is where? Here at Saratoga, 1 1/4 on a good track. Now he gets out of the gate, he gets close to the inside. He is really keen. He was running 3rd from the back. Then coming around the turn, he is hard ridden. He is not getting up to sovereignty or journalism, but he is able to finish 3rd with a 100 buyer. Looking at the second angle, does he have a graded stakes win? No, but this is a super talented horse. You have to give him his props. He has been in 3 graded stakes entries out of only 6 entries. And the only horses that have beaten him are journalism and sovereignty, 2 of the best horses out there. In the G1 Santa Anita Derby going this distance, he was beaten by journalism. Journalism came 2nd in the Derby, won the Preakness, 2nd in the Belmont, and just won the Haskell. Then there's Sovereignty. Sovereignty won the Derby, won the Belmont. This is the only 2 horses that have beaten him in his graded stakes entries. And in all 3 graded stakes entries, he has earned buyers over 100. And also, he started his career later than journalism and sovereignty. So you have to give him some props. So does he have tactical speed, our 3rd angle? Well, most of the time, yes. We didn't see that in the Belmont though. He was slightly outside of that 2.5 lengths from the leader at the half pole. But in this race, him and Mo Plex should be near the lead. Does he have a win in his last prep race, our 4th angle? No, he came in 3rd in the Belmont. There are some things I really like about Baeza. First is what I already mentioned. The only 2 horses that beat him in a graded stakes race are 2 of the best horses out there, Sovereignty and Journalism. He has 3 triple-digit buyers. And let me tell you, that puts him behind Sovereignty, but ahead of everyone else in this field. The other thing, he's got some blazing hot workouts leading up to this race. And he's going to be carrying less weight than everyone else. And oh, by the way, he's going to be forwardly placed with Mo Plex. This is a very interesting horse. Can Baeza turn the tables on Sovereignty on Saturday in the Jim Dandy? The number 2 horse is flying favorite Sandman. He is trained by Mark Cassie and will be ridden by Jose Ortiz. And together they have a 23% win rate. Jose Ortiz was on him for the Kentucky Derby and the Arkansas Derby. 10 starts, 3 wins, 1 place, 3 shows. Very classy horse. 7 of the starts is coming out of graded stakes races. And in those races, we have 1 win. Let's look at that first angle. Was he in a Triple Crown race? Absolutely. Kentucky Derby and Preakness. How did he do in the Kentucky Derby? Well, gates open. He immediately bumps another rival. Now he's way in the back of the pack. He's behind Sovereignty. He then bumps another horse. Going around the far turn, he had to go really wide. He finishes 7th with an 87 buyer. Mark Casse said, hey, he just did not handle the sloppy track that day. In the Preakness, he comes out of post position 7. Now he is way, way, way in the back. If you ever heard me talk about Sandman, you know I say, hey, his superpower is his late speed. Going around the back stretch, again, he starts to pick up the momentum, and then he's just chugging, coming around the turn. He finishes 3rd behind Journalism and Gosker and earns a 95 buyer. Has he won a graded stakes race? Yes, the Arkansas Derby, this distance. In that race, it was a field of 9. Now the pace was blazing hot. Again, he's way in the back, but around the turn, he turned up those engines. When he got to the lead, he started drifting around. He was turning around his head like, wait, what? Am I in first? But he wins by 2.5 lengths. He did have a lot of pace to run into that day, but you cannot ignore his talent, and he earned a 99 buyer. Did he win or place in his last race? No, it was the Preakness. He came in 3rd, but that's not what worries me the most. What worries me the most is his running style. He does not have tactical speed, and he tends to be 12 to 15 lengths off the leader at the half pole. He really does well when there's pace to run into, and this race is not shaping up to be a fast pace race. But he is getting blinkers for the first time, and trainers add blinkers when they want the horse to be more focused. Now, I really love Sandman. He is one of my favorites. And if you've heard me talk about him, I always say, don't sleep on Sandman. But I worry for him in this race because of his running style and the lack of pace. Unless the blinkers get him more engaged early on. Before we move on to the next runner, if you're finding this information useful, hit like and hit subscribe. Never miss out on my horse racing coverage. Now to the next runner. The number 3 horse is Mo Plex, and let me tell you, I love me some Mo horses because Mo is the name of my cat. He's trained by Jeremiah Engelhart and will be ridden by Manny Franco. Manny Franco has been on him 2 times, the Bayshore Stakes and the Gander Stakes. 8 starts, 5 wins. Yes, I said it. 5 wins, 1 place, and 2 shows. This horse has always been on the board. Now, one of the things I want to point out from the get-go is even though he's got the 5 wins, he's missing some of the class that we're seeing in the other runners like Sovereignty and Baeza and Sandman, who are all in the Derby, and a couple of them in the Belmont. This horse has only been in 3 graded stakes races out of his 8, and 2 of them were as a 2-year-old. Now, he was in the Sanford at this track going 6 furlongs, and he won that race by a length. He also was in the G1 Champagne as a 2-year-old going a mile, where he came in 3rd. His last race was the G3 Ohio Derby, this distance, and he won that race. So he didn't participate in a Triple Crown race. Doesn't have that angle, but he did have 2 graded stakes wins, so has that angle. Let's look at his last graded stakes win, the Ohio Derby. The Ohio Derby is this distance at Thistledown. He came out of the outermost post. When he comes out, he kind of veers off. Where did you go, Mo? Then he rushes to get up to the lead pack. He is sitting right on the shoulder of the leader, who is the favorite, Clever Again. Going around the turn, he takes command, wins that race, and earns a 96 buyer. So I will tell you that in that race, that was the first time he went more than a mile. And outside of that very odd beginning, he commanded that race and earned his best buyer. There are a couple things I really like about Mo Plex. One is he's going to probably be the leader in this race in a very paceless race. And he's got 2 wins at Saratoga. Now, can he beat the likes of Sovereignty? Well, I don't know, especially given Sovereignty's speed ratings. But he is going to be playing Catch Me If You Can. The number 4 horse is Hill Road. Trained by Chad Brown, he'll be ridden by Irad Ortiz Jr., who is on him for the Belmont Stakes. 6 starts, 2 wins, 2 shows. 5 of his starts, graded stakes races, 1 win, and 2 shows. So at the start, we see he was in a Triple Crown race, the Belmont. He's in post position 1. Again, remember the Belmont, a mile and a fourth here at Saratoga. He gets out of the gate. He's close to the rail. He's way in the back of the pack. Now he's matching stride for stride with Baeza. Then he angles 4 to 5 wide, but can only finish 5th with a 96 buyer. This was his best buyer though. But we see his last race, he doesn't get the angle of a win or a place. Does he have a win in a graded stakes race? Yes, absolutely, the Peter Pan. A mile and an eighth this distance at Belmont at Aqueduct. Now, he stumbled at the start. He got close to the rail. He is trailing in the back of the pack, but going around that turn, he commences a rally and he is gaining momentum. He sees the top 2. He narrows and boom, gets the win with a 95 buyer. But who did he beat that day? McAfee, who came in 3rd behind Mo Plex in the Ohio Derby, and also Captain Cook. He finished 3rd in his next race as well, and they earned 89 and 88 buyers in their next race. What about tactical speed? Nope, he's a closer. In the Belmont, he was 4 to 5 lengths off the leader at the half pole, and in other races, 3 to 6 lengths. And this is what worries me the most in a race that doesn't have a lot of speed. The number 5 horse is Sovereignty. Now you cannot ignore, he is the king of 3-year-olds. This horse is trained by Belmont and he'll be ridden by Junior Alvarado. 7 starts, 4 wins, 2 places, and 2 of the wins, Triple Crown races. There is too much here to ignore. In the Kentucky Derby, mile and a fourth, Churchill Downs, sloppy track. He comes out of post position 18. Now he gets bumped around. He's like in 16th or 17th position and then gains that momentum coming down the stretch. He duels with journalism, but wins by a length and a half and earns a 104 buyer. In the Belmont, a mile and a fourth at Saratoga. So this track on a good surface comes out of post position 2. He gets to the rail. Now he is just cruising along. Him and journalism, rival journalism, are side by side. Journalism then takes control of the race, but Sovereignty just flies to the outside, and coming down that stretch, he just runs down journalism and earns a 109 buyer. Yes, I said it, a 109 buyer. That is top in this field. So looking at the angles, he's been in a Triple Crown race. He's won 2 of the Triple Crown races. He won his prep race, the Belmont, which is a major prep race for this race, and also a graded stakes race. That's 3 of the angles. But let's just look at his other graded stakes entries. He had 3. As a 2-year-old, he announced himself in the G3 Street Sense. He won by a whopping 5 lengths and earned an 87 buyer, going a mile and a 16th at Churchill Downs. Then as a 3-year-old, he backs it up in the Fountain of Youth. Now the Fountain of Youth, it was a short stretch. Belmont was like, I'm not so really sure this short stretch is going to match his running style, but he wins. and earns a 95 buyer. In the Florida Derby, going 1 1/8 distance at Gulfstream, well, we know he overcame that short stretch in the Fountain of Youth, but this race he has another hardship. He's coming out of post position 10. And unfortunately, even though he had that signature late move, he couldn't get up to Japan Street. He finished second with a 92 buyer. Now, does he have our last angle tactical speed? If you look outside of the Belmont, you would say no. In the Florida Derby and the Fountain Youth, he was between 5 and 6 lengths from the leader at the half pole. In the Derby, I would never look at the Derby because there's so much jostling and bumping going on. He was like 12 to 13 lengths behind the leader. But the Belmont, he was only 1.25 lengths behind the leader at the half pole. So if he can replicate the Belmont, he clicks off all the angles. He is tippity top on top of all the 3-year-olds right now, and it's hard to ignore him or look past him. Now it's your turn. Drop me a comment below. I want to hear from you. Who do you really like in this race? And remember, I'm going to select a viewer from random and highlight them on the next video from those comments. Hit like and hit subscribe. Never miss out on my racing coverage. I'm doing 1 race a week for Saratoga, and then we're back to looking at Derby prep. I hope you all find your winner on Saturday. Cheers.